This is Locked On Bets, the daily betting show that means business from the Locked On Podcast Network. Hosted by Lee Sterling and Kevin Rogers, they're dropping fearless picks with an inside edge to put money in your pocket. If there's action, they've got the lock. This is where smart bets start. It's Locked On Bets.
Welcome to the Friday edition of Locked On Bets. Kevin Rogers and Lee Sterling of Paramount Sports with you. And as always, we appreciate you making Locked On Bets your first listen of the day here on the Locked On Podcast Network, the #1 sports podcast network currently. And got a lot of football to get to coming up today. Also, UFC and Qatar. We'll get to that as well. So, Lee, with everything going on, let's get right to it. And we'll start off with a college football wrong team favorite.
What the fuck?
WTF.
The SEC stacking the deck this weekend against some of the teams they're playing. We're going to talk about that in a little bit. And I'm not faulting, like Florida, Tennessee, which normally is a September game, and they're playing late this year, Missouri, Oklahoma. But you have some other questionable matchups we'll get to. But for the purposes of this play here, Lee, LSU, who again has been a disappointment. Brian Kelly fired. Yep. Nussmeier's hurt. They got a lot of issues. They're 6-4, hosting an 8-2 Western Kentucky team. LSU over a 3-touchdown favorite here at home. What do you like here with the Tigers and the Hilltoppers?
Two backup quarterbacks going to play here, and LSU without a coach. This is what happens late in the year. You get some games like this, and Western Kentucky. We don't know how good they are, but I think they can score. So their starter to begin the year was Maverick McIver. He came from Abilene Christian. If people remember, he was actually at Texas when I was there. Rick McIver, his father. Good quarterback. He gets hurt, and then Rodney Tisdale Jr. comes in, does a good job. McIver's available for this game. There's a chance he might play some, but Rodney Tisdale Jr. doing a great job, even running some. They can, like I said, I think that they can score here. So they're going to face an LSU team that's coming off some really tough games here, and I don't know if LSU is going to even, show up. I mean, they played Arkansas last week. They played for the boot, probably the ugliest looking trophy I've ever seen in my life, and came back and won that game. So after playing Alabama, Arkansas, they have this game. So it's just, like I said, we're talking about how weird it is. And they're going to give Western Kentucky that $1.8 million check to show up for this game. And I don't think they're going to start the buses at halftime. I think these Western Kentucky kids can play. I also like their special teams. Good kicker who's accurate. So if they get in the red zone, they're going to score. LSU doesn't score. I mean, this is a non-scoring team here, and you want to lay 23-plus points? I have them winning the game 31-17. I'll take all those gorgeous points in Western Kentucky. Wrong team favored.
So before they beat Arkansas by a point, lose to Alabama, lose to Texas A&M, lose to Vanderbilt. So what a gauntlet that was. And then they barely beat Arkansas. They get Oklahoma on the road next week to wrap up this miserable season before they name Lane Kiffin or whoever the coach is. I mean, Lane Kiffin could be in the crosshairs. But it's still funny to think, Lee, that LSU won at Clemson week 1 and how both those teams kind of fell off the face of the earth since that game. But you like Western Kentucky here with the points against LSU. So we will remain with SEC teams, and we will look at an SEC blowout special in Gainesville.
Oh, boy. Last one out, turn off the lights. This one's a blowout.
It's still hard to believe that Florida's 3-7. Like, I can't fathom that. Mm-hmm. And they beat Texas at home, which is still very odd. I mean, they have a win over Long Island, which should be stricken from the record. And they beat Mississippi State by 2. They lose the USF game at the end. They lost by 4 to Georgia. Like, they hung in some of these games, and we know that that Billy Napier got fired. FSU's on deck coming up next week at home, so a couple home games for the Gators. But Tennessee favored. Volunteer still with the shot to get to the college football playoff at 7-3. What do you like here with the Vols and the Gators from the Swamp?
You missed one thing, Kevin. We just talked about LSU. Now we're talking about another team that Lane Kiffin might end up at.
Yeah.
So
I'm betting on Florida. I'm taking Florida over
Okay.
LSU. I really think because the connection with his ex-wife and all of that, but that's just my feeling. But what are your thoughts on the game?
So you think he's going to LSU?
No, I think he's going to Florida.
Oh, Florida. Oh, his ex-wife.
Yeah,
Oh,
his
that's
ex-wife.
good.
Yeah.
Okay. Some people think he's going to LSU because they think that they have the resources and a better chance to win a national title. Here's the thing. If he goes anywhere else, if he goes to another SEC school, he's never going to be Urban Meyer, never going to be Steve Spurrier.
No.
And he's the king at Ole Miss. He stopped drinking at Ole Miss. His wife comes back to him. I think he's happy there. I think he's found inner peace. His kids seem to be happy. If I was him, I probably wouldn't move. That's just me. Because if he makes the college football playoff once every 3-4 years, he's a god at Ole Miss. So that's just my 2 cents. Now, back to the Florida-Tennessee game. I think Florida might quit here. So 2 weeks ago against Kentucky, they got spanked, gave up 38 points. Last week, whatever they had left, they're a 3-7 team. I know they hate Tennessee, but they're without their top 4 receivers. And whatever they had, they gave it in that first half, and they were dead in the second half last week when they played Ole Miss. Gave up 34. I think Tennessee's offense is better. I think Tennessee's offense, Ole Miss did not play well in that game, especially in the first half. Second half, they played better. I think Tennessee's defense is going to show up here. They never win in Florida. I think they've won like one time in 35, 40 years. Florida 6-1 against the spread, the last 7 in the series. That game they played last week, Tennessee, that was like a scrimmage against New Mexico State. Has no bearing on this game at all. I think Tennessee is going to be ready. I think they score early and often. I'm going to lay the 4 points here. Blowout special here. Tennessee Volunteers and all that pain of losing in Gainesville. They lay it on the poor Florida Gators. Now, I never feel sorry for Florida, even though both my parents and both my siblings went there. At least they never rooted for them. So Tennessee big, blowout special.
My sister went to Florida. I don't feel bad for them.
No.
That's the one school I don't feel bad for at all.
No.
But I will say this, though, in all seriousness, that I wonder how much that took out of them last week, that Ole Miss game where you played really well. And you're up going to the fourth quarter. The Rebels come back. They beat you. And now you got to come back. I'm not saying you're not motivated for Tennessee. That's not the case ever. But you're facing a really good team now, and how much gas you have left in the tank. Also, I find it so interestingly when you bring this up, how much times have changed when you say how the Gators have covered against Tennessee all these times, but yet it feels like something that happened 2 years ago is so irrelevant in today's college football world, with all the coaching changes, with all the transfer portal, NIL, all the changes, that like all of these old stats that we used to keep an eye on now feel so irrelevant. But we'll see if Tennessee loses at Florida coming up Saturday, then you say, oh, well, maybe the stats still have something there because Tennessee still can't win in the Swamp.
If they don't win this year, they're never going to win to Tennessee. So, it's great. And this game should be put back in mid to late September. Yeah. Not November, not late November, not the week before Florida State. Never.
No. And speaking of which, all these SEC teams there's 3 of them that are playing FCS teams: Auburn, Alabama, and Texas A&M. I don't have a problem with them on the schedule. I just don't like the timing on the schedule. To play these games in September. Why are you playing them now? Why is Texas A&M playing after
Samford.
Last week? Samford. They're playing Samford.
Not Stanford. Samford.
Might as well be playing Stanford. Auburn's playing Mercer, who's 9-1.
Yeah.
And Alabama's playing Eastern Illinois. It just feels silly them playing this late in the season.
Yeah, I can't remember. Has this ever happened? I don't. Well, they're going to 9-game schedule next year. Let's hope it doesn't happen. I mean, if there's one game like that, a team backs out or something, there's odd scheduling. But there's 16 teams, right, in the SEC now? Yeah.
I mean, you do have teams that are playing each other, obviously. With talk about Florida, Tennessee, there are because of pure numbers. But I remember this happening. Even when Nick Saban was at Alabama, they would play some silly team from the FCS in the second to last week before the Iron Bowl. But at the same time, like, why? It just seems like the SEC do better with these schedules. Like, why?
Well,
you can't play someone from a decent conference?
Maybe in Mississippi, maybe they needed the venues weren't getting enough weddings this time of year. So maybe in Alabama and Mississippi, all the Ole Miss, Auburn, Alabama fans, they can rotate it. They got to rotate it. So, Kentucky, they have a week where you have weddings. I mean, can you imagine scheduling a wedding? And if you're an Alabama fan and expecting people to go, I mean, I just tell my wife, like, if someone schedules a wedding on a Miami, Florida State game or something like, big game, Miami, Notre Dame, send a nice parting gift. We're not going unless it's immediate family.
Okay, I'm going to ask this question because this was brought up on social media a while ago, so I want your take on this, okay?
All right.
Not Miami, Florida State. If Miami's playing Wake Forest or Duke or someone like that, and there's a wedding, you still feel the same way? Because I kind of look at it like we all have phones now. You could check the score on your phone. You could survive one day. Not the rivalry. Like, you're not going to have a wedding on Auburn, Alabama, or Ohio State, Michigan, or something like that. Like, that's silly. But if Ohio State's playing Rutgers, you could skip that game. You'll survive, right?
We even, like, my mother-in-law knows the drill. Like, her birthday was last Saturday. My wife went to the party. She had all these women go. I think a few men. I didn't go. I had to watch all these games on TV. It's my work, and she was cool with it. So she knows the drill.
Yeah, that is what. Yes, that's it. Sorry, I got to watch the games. We'll hang out next time. But today is definitely not the day. We still have a lot more to get to here. We have NFL, a couple NFL plays, also UFC and Qatar. We have a hidden gem there. All of that is straight ahead. You are listening to the Friday edition of Locked On Bets. Let's now talk about FanDuel. We are rolling in the NFL season. FanDuel is an offer you don't want to miss. Right now, new customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right. Pick a bet, put down $5, and if it hits, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets. It's used across the app, and what can you bet on? So many different things, specifically in the NFL, with Week 12 continuing on Sunday. A couple big games, Colts and the Chiefs. Kansas City, a short favorite at home. You have Eagles, Cowboys in the late window. On Sunday afternoon in Dallas, Philadelphia favored in that one. You have sides, money lines, totals for all these games. Also player props. If you want to look at Patrick Mahomes or Danny Dimes in the Chiefs-Colts game with their passing yard props. Also maybe Jalen Hurts if he's going to score a rushing touchdown. That's one. Dak Prescott's been slinging it everywhere. His passing yards prop as well. And you also have the postseason awards. Matthew Stafford, Drake May among the favorites to win MVP at FanDuel. Also, Philadelphia Eagles. They are the Super Bowl favorites right now. There at FanDuel. AFC champion, NFC champion. Also, if you want to look at college football coming down the stretch here, college basketball, NBA, NHL, all of that. You have so many choices at FanDuel. So what are you waiting for? Visit FanDuel.com to download the FanDuel app today and get started. We continue Locked On Bets here on a Friday. Kevin Rogers and Lee Sterling of Paramount Sports. And now we shift our attention to the National Football League for Week 12. And with all the great matchups, I decided to go with kind of a crazy hidden gem.
To find a diamond in the rough, you need to dig a little deeper for those hidden gems.
Lee, I can't stand the term contrarian. I don't like it, but I like this spot here. I'm going to take the points, the 3 points of the Arizona Cardinals at home against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, first off, the Cardinals are 3-7 on the season. Kyler Murray's out. Marvin Harrison Jr., he's out. The appendectomy. I had an appendectomy, and it definitely isn't pleasant. I'll put it that way. So that's why I don't fault Marvin Harrison Jr. for taking more time to get back, especially him playing professional football. But besides that point, Jacoby Brissett had 47 completions last week in their loss to San Francisco. That was an NFL record. I didn't realize that nobody ever threw for or ever completed 47 passes in an NFL game. But I think that the Cardinals, after all of these close losses they had to Tennessee, which the game they threw away, which was ridiculous, the Colts, the Packers. They beat Dallas on a Monday night. Coming off a couple blowout losses to Seattle and San Francisco, they were by far the toughest division in the NFL. I mean, yes, you can say the AFC West, but the NFC West just stacked with the Rams, Seahawks, and 49ers ahead of them. So you just faced two of those teams. Now you're facing Jacksonville, who's off one of their best wins of the season. They destroyed the Chargers 35-6 at home last week. But Jacksonville still, it's been a bit uneven for them. They beat the Chiefs. They lose to the Seahawks. They beat the Raiders. They lose to the Texans. I know that Texan game, they were up big and they lost. I just feel like this is a tough spot for them going out to the desert. Third road trip in 4 weeks for them. So I'm going to go with Arizona here after the blowout losses and the back-to-back games. I think here they bounce back. So we're going to take the Cardinals here as our hidden gem against the Jacksonville Jaguars.
This is going to be a game I taped. I guess I'm going to have to watch it live.
You can still tape it and watch it later.
True. Could do that. So, yeah, it's tough. It's tough to go with Jacksonville 2 weeks in a row. They looked so good last week, so dominating. And then usually that's the Jacksonville way. They look bad. So, I favor Arizona there.
All right, so the Cardinals, we will back them in that NFL hidden gem. So we go from one hidden gem to another in UFC coming up on Saturday from Qatar.
To find a diamond in the rough, you need to dig a little deeper for those hidden gems.
UFC in Qatar coming up on Saturday with all the college football going on, with Mercer playing Auburn and all the games we're keeping an eye on. UFC Qatar. Lee, what do you have here with a hidden gem coming up on Saturday?
All right, so this fight came this close to making my card. It is a fight. It's the first fight on the main card. It is Tagir Ulanbekov, and originally a Russian fighter. He is fighting Kyoji Horiguchi. I think I got that right. I think I got both of them right. So Ulanbekov is long. He has a reach of 70 inches, and his opponent, Horiguchi, only 65. And I've noticed when he fights others that have that long reach like him, not as good. But when he's got a 3, 4, 5 inch reach advantage, it seems like almost like it's 8 or 9. So big advantage. He's tall, he's rangy, and he can strike. And then once he gets his hands on you, he'll submit you. His opponent was in Ryzen. Hasn't really fought much competition here. Unless he wins by decision, I think that's the only way. And I just don't think he's going to be able to strike enough significant blows and enough blows. He's going to have to get on top of Ulanbekov, and I don't think he's going to be able to do it here. I think it's two levels of fighters here. I think they made this fight because it's overseas and just looking for an opponent here. And sometimes, like to get these foreign fighters, it comes close to a decision, they're usually going to take it. So we're going to take Ulanbekov here, minus 200, minus 210. My hidden gem goes with my UFC card. Saturday, early, 10 a.m. start. Check it out. 5 selections, $5. That's it.
All right, so get your UFC in before college football starts on Saturday, and should be pretty good there. And we will get back to the NFL with our lock of the day, and that is coming up in an interconference showdown. We'll talk about that coming up. You are listening to Locked On Bets. Locked On Bets continues here on a Friday. Kevin Rogers and Lee Sterling of Paramount Sports with you. And we go back now to the National Football League. And a couple big favorites this week in the NFL. The Lions, they're laying 10.5 against the Giants. Also, the Ravens, nearly a 2-touchdown favorite against the Jets. But we will go to another big favorite that's happening in Nashville, the Seahawks and the Titans, for our lock of the day.
Open it, open it, open it. Lee has the key to the lock of the day.
think about this for a second, Lee. If that one running back from Arizona doesn't drop the ball in the one, which I still maintain they don't know if the ball crossed the plane or not, and then the other guy fumbled on the interception and Tennessee got the ball back. Tennessee needed like 7 divine intervention things to happen in that Arizona game. They all happened, and they won. Like, they should be right now 0-10. Like, there's no, like, even being 1-9 is a miracle for them. But Seattle 7-3. Sam Darnold, if he doesn't throw a lot of bonehead interceptions last week, they should have beaten the Rams. But now they're back on the road where they've been really good. And going to Tennessee, can't afford to have a slip up here. They're nearly 2-touchdown favorites. What do you think here at the Seahawks and the Titans?
Yeah, so they're bad. And Cam Ward has to be suffering. His offensive line's terrible. Running backs, horrible. Receivers, so bad that most of them probably couldn't make other rosters. And it just seems like, he used to run around and take his good old time at Miami. He doesn't have time. They are on him, and he's taking a lot of sacks. So Sam Darnold coming off his worst game by far of the season. They had a chance, believe it or not. He throws 4 interceptions, no touchdowns. They had a chance to pull it off. They hit a 61-yard field goal. Just shows you how good they are. So they move the ball well throughout the game. Titans averaging NFL low, 14.3 points per game. You talked about that Cardinals win. Seattle's top 5 in sacks. So Cam Ward's probably going to take 3, 4, 5 sacks in this game. He's thrown only 6 touchdowns. That's it. 6 touchdowns in 10 games. No games. Not one has he thrown more than 1 touchdown. And I can't see him score more than 10 points against the Seattle defense here. Seattle's loaded running back. They interchanged 2 guys. Tennessee has no one even close to that. Their receivers, Smith and Jimmy Smith, he could be the MVP. He's that good. He's unguardable. Special teams have been good also. Doesn't matter if the game's in Tennessee. Seattle coming off loss. I love him here. We're going to go a level 2 lock to end the week on Friday. Seattle Seahawks, level 2 lock, blowout special here. Big time over Tennessee.
And Tennessee off a close loss last week to Houston, so you wonder how they're going to come out here. 3rd straight home game for the Titans. They got blown out by, or actually now they hung with the Chargers, lost by 7 and lost by 3 to Houston, and now they have Seattle. Tennessee they just can't score. Like, it's simple as that. Like, it's one thing if you're losing shootouts. You're not losing any of these shootouts. In the Arizona game, you were getting blown out. You had no business winning that game. So it's just been terrible. And what's so funny is, Lee, that earlier in the season, maybe around like week 3, week 4, I thought that the Saints and the Titans were the worst teams, where New Orleans at least has shown a little bit of fight in some of these games. That New Orleans hasn't been god-awful in these games. Like, they still have a long ways to go. They still need another quarterback to help them out. Still need some more offensive weapons. But even New Orleans at 2-8, they play Atlanta this week, and the Falcons are a complete mess. That New Orleans, they beat Carolina last week. I mean, Carolina's a borderline playoff team. They had a good win over the Giants. They hung in some of those other games. Even Buffalo, they hung around with early in the season. At least they're showing some signs of life, where Tennessee, there's just nothing to get excited about. Calvin Ridley's hurt. There's just nothing there. And like you said with Cam Ward, that, yes, next year is a new year, but this year you just want to get this thing over with.
Yep, I agree. So
that's it. Yeah,
let's just end the week strong and feel good about the card.
Yeah, no, it's Seattle. I'd like to see what they can do here, and they've been really good on the road over the last few seasons. All right, Dovember continues. We're almost headed to Thanksgiving, less than a week away, but Dovember continues at Paramount Sports, all the NFL, the college football, everything going on. So what's going on, Lee? Tell us about it.
Yep. Talked about UFC. 5 selections, $5. Just want to make sure. I had a losing card last week. It happens. Any handicapper telling you they win all the time doesn't happen. But we've still won 18 of the last 24 cards in the UFC. I just want to make sure you have a pulse and a credit card. Five selections, $5. Starts early, though. Saturday, 10 a.m. Selections are ready to go now. You want to get on them. Usually our selections the lines move up. So don't wait until late Friday night, Saturday morning. 5 selections, $5 there. ParamountSports.com. NFL, we've been king last 9 weeks, 33-11-1, 75% for almost the whole year. So not many people can make that claim. So you want to hop on our NFL Sunday Golden Ticket. 4 weeks, $197, and not November, November. You can get the rest of the month. Got 10 days of action, $197, college and pro. Use coupon code SAVE200. Oh, even the player props. Player props have been hot on a roll there on the NFL and college player props. I just lowered that through the Super Bowl, $297. That's an absolute steal. Hockey, red hot. Had a big winner last night. Rolling there, I think, for something like 8-1, 9-1, something like that in hockey. So basketball's rolling again. Everything's up and available. Check it all out. ParamountSports.com.
And don't forget to like and subscribe to our YouTube channel, Locked On Bets, as well as our podcast. You can find on Spotify or Apple, wherever you get your podcasts. Locked On Bets, just type that in. You will find us there. You can find Lee on X at Paramount Sports, myself at Rogers Picks. Have a great weekend, and we'll talk to you again coming up on Monday for another edition of Locked On Bets right here on the Locked On Podcast Network.